Oh, yeah. Once you've had Rick Rack, you'll never go back. The ultimate motorcycle luggage rack solution. Forget those messy straps and bungee cords. Go strapless with a Rick Rack quick attach system and quality bag. That's right. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store and get hooked up now. Hey, Bikeaholics, Ciro 3D has a wide variety of innovative products for your Harley-Davidson and a brand new line for the all-new Honda Goldwing named Gold Strike.
I like gold.
I like it. Top quality, affordable chrome lighting and comfort products. Ciro Gold Strike are the motorcycle LED lighting innovators for CAN, bus, plug-and-play system compatibility. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store. Check out our full line of Ciro 3D products. Want to ride longer? Tired of a sore and achy ass? Then fix it with a high-quality butt buffer seat cushion. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store and check out our lineup of butt buffer seat cushions. Oh, yeah. Here we go, boys. Got an awesome episode for you guys. Something we've been meaning to do. But first, welcome back, you freaking bikeaholics. This is the podcast for the motorcycle majority. The Big MM, also known as the
99%.
Large and in charge of the motorcycle scene more than any time in history by being here, by listening in podcast format, by watching our YouTube channel, whatever you do, whether you like it or not, and I know you like it, you're part of what we call
The hashtag Biker Revolution.
There you go, guys. Rock on. We do have just one question for you before we get started. What are you waiting for, Bikeaholics? Mount up.
And let us take you on another wild-ass ride.
You're good at that.
It's a little bit warm.
Soothing. Oh,
yes,
wow.
we don't want your sweaty palms.
That is what I'm talking about.
Going old school with the PBR
Dang, yeah.
wristbands.
The only other thing you're missing are those things in the 80s, you know, they go on your ankles or whatever when you do, never mind. Fuck, I can't, I don't know. I got nothing right now. I don't know what happened.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Leg
but
warmers,
whatever it
leg
is.
Leg warmers,
Sounds-
yeah.
Shut your mouth.
Ooh, that's right. Here we are, guys. Here we are. Ryan Erlacher here, your host of the Law Abiding Biker Podcast, and your
High-tech redneck.
there you go.
I love
We got
that.
Oscar in the house.
Or most of me anyway. I don't know what happened.
We brought him in for this episode because of his expertise. And of course, real quick, the main topic today is going to be oil sumping. The oil sumping issue with the Milwaukee-Eight. So we're going to break it down. What you need to look for. Is it a serious issue? Is it not a serious issue? Is it overblowing? All that kind of stuff. We were going to do this episode on two different things. Oil transfer, which is a separate issue from oil sumping. But because it's so involved, just FYI, this episode, we're going to stick to oil sumping. And then don't worry, we will break out. So make sure you're subscribed to the podcast and all that, guys, because we are going to break out and we will follow up with an episode on oil transfer. And we've got some news for you on the oil sumping. We might have a really cool project coming for you and all that kind of stuff.
I have a really bad joke. I mean, it's waiting.
Well, wait.
Damn it.
Ring.
Oh, well done.
Nice, bro.
I like to change it up and do a little bit something
You
different
have
once
to.
in a while.
Yeah, you can't be pigeonholed into one
No.
one role.
I'm a peacock, man. I got to spread my feathers. I got to spread my wings.
You are a cock
What's your
something.
joke, Oscar?
I was just saying this episode's really going to be something. Get it? Something.
Oh,
yes,
Oh my God, that's
bro.
even worse than like a typical dad joke.
That's my grandpa
That's a
joke.
badass.
We call those grandpa jokes. Because my grandpa,
they're badass,
dude. You get two for
Gotta
that,
be
dude.
something.
Hey, wait. Did you see the movie Constipation?
No.
Yeah, because it never came out.
Oh Lord.
Oh, yes.
Nailed it.
I'm glad I.
Dude, I'm here all week.
The punchline on that. You nailed that, bro.
That's right up there with your. Hey, is your refrigerator running?
Yeah, you better go catch it. Dude, that joke there's all about timing, and you frickin' nailed that,
Matt
bro.
opened that door for me. I appreciate that.
I'm here for you, brother.
You let me shine it.
Oh yeah.
You're going to be here all week. Just flew in, boy, or my arm's tired. Oh, one for me. Oh,
Wow.
come on.
I feel just a little bit dumber now.
At least you know you still can go down a little bit. It's cool.
Hope you all out there in
I ain't going down with you two right now.
in the interwebs land there are doing well. Of course, still going through the COVID-19 stuff, but it's fun to be able to hang out here with you guys and chat. So oil sumping, that's what it's going to be about it. And we are going to get in depth here in a minute. But of course, I always want to announce a new free video because we got a ton out that we just announced here and there. And this one we'll call the Harley Boombox GTS will have Android Auto in 2020. All right.
Wow.
Do we know anybody with an Android?
We do. Squid.
What?
He has both.
Oh.
He's a techie guy. I think he has both. I know that. I don't know if one's for work and one.
Probably.
He mostly uses Android for his personal stuff.
Yeah, okay.
He's kind of an old PC guy, but he knows both. He's super smart, obviously.
And
That's why I bring him on.
And from what I know about guys like that, they like Android because you can mess with them and do different things.
Right, they get bored because they want problems and they like viruses and malware. And so if everything works like Apple, they don't know what to do with themselves because they're hackers, dude. They want to fix problems, and with Apple, you just don't have to do that.
You got an ecosystem that works, you don't have to mess with it.
Right.
I mean, once I went Apple, I never went back. And
Matt
I
never knew until he started working for Lab, and I gave him an Apple laptop. He's like, holy shit.
It took me forever to get an iPhone. When I finally did it, I went, okay, this is awesome. It works all the time, and I had it forever.
Yeah.
And then, the MacBook. Oh, and it all works together. My iPad, my iMac, my iPad, my iPhone, it all just syncs together. It's beautiful.
We're just messing with all you Android boys out there. We're just teasing. Use what you want. We don't care. We just had to bust on Squid a little bit.
But that's cool that they finally added the Android Auto, because that's been a major complaint of the Android users that it only had the CarPlay.
Yep. And so it is out now. At the time I did this video, it was just anticipated to release. It has since been released. You can get the download. Of course, we've got the Boombox videos. If you don't know how to do all that, it's a big system update. And Squid's been testing it. It seems to be stable as the Boombox and Android together are. But it seems to be working. And also upgrade your system software. All right. Software update released, and Squid has been testing it. Yes, he has. And you can I'll put it in the show notes, guys. lawabidingbiker.com/whatever episode, or just go to our YouTube channel or website, search for Android Auto. You'll get the videos, the articles. The other announcement I want to make that just happened 2 days ago or yesterday is we all know that the iPhone 11 was not making or receiving calls with Apple CarPlay on the GTS system since it came out. And a lot of you have been pissed off, which is another reason I never got the GTS, because I have an 11 Pro. But it was a serious glitch with the boombox, and people bitched at Harley. And finally, they didn't announce it. It just got fixed with a new system. So make sure you have the newest version of iOS on your iPhone and the newest version of the boombox. And from multiple sources. And I thank all of you that are my sources out there that email me and just tell me stuff because you have the GTS and you've tested it. And I also told Squid, and he's testing it. You can now make and receive calls through Apple CarPlay, because that's a lot of reason people get the GTS is simply because you want Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. And if you can't make phone calls through it, that's like useless. And so I was very pleased. I put out some Instagram, some Twitters and Facebook for you guys and all that. I'm not actually going to do an article on that one because it's pretty basic, but it is fixed, and you're
my
good
CB
to go.
Needs no updating. It works every time.
Right.
CB.
It's awesome. I love it.
Jesus, why don't you just send some
10-4 rubber ducky.
Breaker 1-9.
Hang on. I'm a quarter mile away. I can't hear you anymore. I'm a quarter mile away. Oh shit. I can't hear you. I don't know where I am.
No, if you saw the antenna I'm getting for my bike, you'd be able to hear me.
Hey, you know why they call it the comedian? Because that's where the jokers hang
out. That's right. They used to always do that.
Oh, yeah.
So back when me and Matt worked together at the same agency, we would sit in the median.
Yeah.
And we would monitor just because we had CBs back then.
Yeah.
So the truckers, and we'd talk to them too. They'd report stuff to us and say, hey, there's a disabled vehicle or whatever.
And we could talk back and forth without you being on the main radio.
Right. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True. And they would always come march. Got a look at the comedian. That's where all the jokers hang out. Yeah. We laughed so hard one day when we heard that. We just started, and we remembered it ever since.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
You want to know why they call it the comedian? Because all the jokers hang out there. We're like, that's fucking slick. Yeah, I like that. We being the jokers, of course, but yeah. But good times. Oh. All right. Now, we appreciate our sponsors, but obviously these people are definitely sponsors of these episodes and are the reason we're going to this very day.
We got DJ Peterson of Newton, New Jersey, Brett Tuttle of Palm Coast, Florida, and Eric Lytle of Farmdale, Ohio.
Cliff Reese of Mariposa, California. Cliff's top tier Roger Aguilar, Wickenburg, Arizona. And Eric Little of Farmdale,
Oh, we got
Ohio.
him in there twice. He
Eric
gets double notice.
And he's top tier.
Oh, maybe that's what happened. He went
top
I
tier.
bet you one of us put him in there, and then he upgraded
He
top
did.
tier, and he got in again.
So you know exactly what
Yeah,
happened.
buddy.
Finishing up, Brandon Fullis of Lubbock, Texas, top tier. Michael LaHance of New Egypt, New Jersey, and Chris Huddleston of Nixa, Missouri, top tier. Thank you so much, guys. Lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon. That beloved patron members. That's how you get hooked up. Pledge a certain amount, purpose content, no risk to you because you can put a monthly cap. There are benefits, t-shirts, stickers, the private troll-free Facebook group blowing up. Of course, you get access to the ride, meetup, and events. Of course, these live video broadcasts and chat podcasts early, access to our premium videos. It doesn't stop, Lurch. It just keeps going. And
Can't stop. It won't stop.
it won't stop.
It's like a snowball. It's snowballing.
Oh, yeah. You can't stop it. The snowball.
Nice. Also, like right after this, guys, even podcast listeners, what I mean by you get it months earlier, not this one, but we're going to do another one later. We got some other projects to do, but we're going to do another one later. It's not going to be live, but it's going to be obviously recorded, and it'll be posted within a day in the back of your patron accounts. And that will, again, even though you won't see it live, you'll get it months before everybody else. So we're just, again, that's how much we love you guys. So let's dive right in. Main topic, and we've got a lot to go over. We are going to talk specifically, again, we were going to do it on oil transfer and oil sumping, but we're going to break those out. Today's episode, oil sumping in the Milwaukee-Eight. And I'll be curious. We'll monitor the chat as much as we can. We're glad you guys are in there, and we'll monitor if you have had this issue or as we get deeper into it and you can relate a personal experience. We would love to hear from you, and we'll try to add that into the episode to help bikers. So who wants to start this? And we're going to kind of follow our notes because we can get a little off track, which we're really good at.
I think we should start with Oscar because he's our motorhead. He's our oil god, if you will. He collects his oil, puts it in a jar, and sends it off and has it analyzed. So his knowledge of the internal combustion motor and the oil that it requires to lubricate it is outstanding. I enjoy it as the podcast editor, listening to articles because Justin gives you a lot of good information when it comes to motors. So take it away, my friend.
I put other stuff in a jar and have to send it off the lab. But that was
The
because
state
I had
DNA
the drip.
lab doesn't
It was
count.
dripping, and I just sent it in. They said, send in a specimen.
He shit in a box and mailed it off. Have you seen those commercials, by the way, before you get started? I mean, they really have
We
commercials.
never get off track.
They have commercials about shitting in a box and sending it to get, I can't remember what it was. It was getting your something checked out. But isn't
That's
that nuts?
cool, though.
That in today's age, you can take a dump in a box, send it somewhere. They'll play with your poo and tell you whether or not you got colon cancer.
Last time Oscar pooped in a box, he was drinking whiskey.
That is true.
Which is why he does not drink whiskey anymore.
Yeah. Damn it.
And I appreciate that. When guys say they don't drink, if they don't have a story like that, I'm not sure about them. But when they go, I can't drink because I'll shit in a box and mail it to you. Cool. I concur with your decision, sir.
I get it, bro.
Yeah.
I get it.
All
That's probably a good choice.
You might as well earn the nicknames. I mean, because, you
You earned Oscar, didn't you?
I did, yes.
Yeah.
That was another whiskey story. That's
That
good
was.
times.
All right.
Good times. Okay, sumping.
Let her rip, Tater Chip.
All right, sumping. You know, it's ironic we're talking about oil causing excessive friction.
Because generally speaking, it reduces it.
It's supposed to, but in this case, it causes excessive. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Sumping.
Something.
That's
A little
something.
something.
You know, like oil moves around through the motor via the oil pump, and it goes through little holes and things.
Okay.
Right.
And then it lubricates metal parts
We could
either
go-
by forming a boundary between them or a sacrificial layer. That's a cool phrase.
Whoa.
Either way.
This is deep.
So what happens
So
is
the oil is the sacrificial layer.
sometimes the additives form a sacrificial layer.
Should I mean this guy reads so much stuff?
I just
I'm
made all
saying.
that up. I'm just kidding. No, that's true. So we're talking about a problem when the oil doesn't flow right. Sumping is when the oil stays in one place, the oil sump, in the
Now-
bottom of the motor or in the oil bag for the dynos.
Now, this, guys, you may have heard of it. It's kind of all over the internet, yet it's not. And so,
We'll explain that.
yeah. So what I mean is, like, a lot of people are trying to figure out, like, is this an issue? Because
Gotcha,
the
okay.
people that are adamant about it are adamant about it. Like, it's happening. Like, this shit is happening, and it's a problem with the Milwaukee-Eight. And then that's the problem. And we're going to get deeper into that, but there's a lot of bikes that it's not affecting. And some people are like, no, I've had mine, including my police bike. And so it's a very, it's hard to say exactly like how widespread is this, and the information on it is very limited because not a lot of people want to talk about it. Harley certainly doesn't want to talk about it. And there's some YouTube channels out there that will talk about oil pumps and stuff, but because they work for dealerships, they won't tell you why the fuck you need to change your oil pump for better oiling. Didn't you build my bike for good oiling? Like, didn't you build my Milwaukee-Eight for good oiling? Like, why do I need to buy a Harley? And then you're telling me, and you're explaining all this shit about an oil pump, and you're telling me that it's better. But the deal is Harley has had a problem with this, guys. How big is the problem? I don't know. But typical Harley is they're avoiding it. They're avoiding talking about it, and their dealership certainly can't say anything about it. You might have somebody at your dealership that will give you the inside, but they don't want to they've been testing it, and I'll just tell you, they are aware of it, and the dealerships are aware of it too. I hope that makes sense. I don't think anybody knows quite how widespread it is, and I don't think Harley really wants to say how widespread it is, but it is affecting people. It's something you'll want to be aware of if you have the M8. Like I said, I can tell you my police bike, we are running the piss out of those things, and as of now, I haven't had any issues. So I wanted to preface
we can get into that because there's a reason probably why it's that way. Same thing with the old cam chain. This is not Harley's first design flaw.
What?
I know.
What?
Jeez, can you imagine?
Oh my God.
Yeah,
dude.
right. So all the oil, more oil. So there's a balance of the oil moving through the motor, through the oil filter, and so there's a balance with the oil pressure, as the oil pump takes oil from the motor or the sump and moves it through the motor, and that there has to be a certain balanced pressure. Too high a pressure, too low a pressure causes problems either way. So when a bike wet sumps, that means it's not leaving the crankcase. It's not moving through the motor.
Staying in the bottom of the motor.
It's staying in the bottom of the motor or in the oil bag for the dynos. And so in the bottom end where the flywheel, the crank is, that is meant to move right at a certain rate with a certain amount of friction. And if it's totally covered with fluid, that thick 2050, it creates a heat. It slows the motor down because it's like lifting up a spoonful of oatmeal versus a spoonful of water. The oatmeal's heavier. It creates more energy to move it. So the same thing happens. All this oil's down there. The motor's moving through it. If the oil is the right level and it's moving through the motor like it should, it's not covering the entire crankcase or whatever. It's at a lower level and it's splash lubricating instead of slogging through. Make sense?
Yeah,
it does. It should only have so much down there, and if it's not picking it up and moving it through the rest of the motor, you've got too much down there, which is slowing down the motor, which makes sense, and that's why one of the symptoms is a sluggish motor that's not performing correctly. Correct?
Yep.
Correctly correct. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
Well put.
So
putly put.
To keep us on track here, and then you guys jump in to kind of follow our notes, so wet sumping is a condition where oil, instead of returning to the oil tank, builds up in the crankcase, which we kind of said, and cam gear case, causing excessive friction and power loss. Sumping is when the suction side of the oil, does not remove enough oil from the crankcase. When the flywheels rotate in the oil, they turn it into an aerated state.
It could, yes, right.
And that's that analogy you just used with the oatmeal. That makes sense.
You're right. Yeah, exactly. Good.
Frothy.
And I know some of this was said in a roundabout, and it's good. So you get both sides, and then I'm going to stick to the more, so everybody learns a different way. And then oil gets trapped in the crankcase and does not return to the pump. So here's some stuff I pulled, which I pulled some miscellaneous sources from here. Like I say, I was talking to David in chat there, and there is a video on it, but they don't, the dealership guys are not going to tell you, they will never say the word oil sumping problem with the Milwaukee-Eight. They're never going to
just tell you there's something better.
Oh, you should upgrade. Yeah, you should upgrade. It's better oiling for your Milwaukee-Eight. I'm like, shouldn't it come with a good oil pump? I just paid $30,000 for it, but they will never tell you because they've been strictly told that they do not have an oil sumping problem. Okay.
Snowman's in the chat.
But yet they made new oil pumps for it specifically after their OEM oil pumps. And they highly suggest that you change it. It's just it's a typical Harley deal. So.
Well, it kind of goes to what you said earlier. There's a couple different schools of thought on it. It's it's a problem or it's not a big deal. And it's not necessarily affecting all bikes. Depends on how you ride. And so they're not to a point where they're going to say it's a problem, we need to replace it. But it is a issue.
Yeah.
Depending on, so that's why they're telling you if you want to upgrade it, you can upgrade it.
But look at this side of it.
But
so I get what you're saying. They went to the money and the expense to manufacture 2 new oil pumps for those motors. Think of what that cost them. They literally, it's not something they had on hand before. They've manufactured it.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about what they did to it, machined it, and made this the scavenge side bigger. They went to that trouble because they have to make a different one for the oil cooled and then the twin cooled. There's 2 different versions.
What I was getting at is it's not enough to be a recall warranty type issue.
Right. To them.
But to them.
Right.
It is to the people that are having
kind of like the boombox. Never a recall.
As a company, they're looking at it and deciding how big of an issue it is and how much it costs, and they got to balance that. It's not to the point where it's a warranty issue, but they're telling you that this is available and it's an upgrade and it will oil your bike better, like you're saying.
Better oiling.
So not only, they know it's an issue, but they're counting on you, the owner, to go buy yourself a new oil pump and put it in, or have them put it in and fix their issue.
Well, let's face it.
You should never have to buy an oil pump.
But that's what Harley, that's what we've done with Harley-Davidsons for 200 years.
Yep.
We bought better parts because they make the regular exhaust, but then you can buy the Screaming Eagle exhaust, which is...
Yeah, they definitely made a industry out of... made a...
Stage 1, 2, 3, 4,
They sell you a stock bike and then you customize it to make it the way you want.
That's right.
Your bike.
Make it yours. So, maybe this
I guess they've got us used to it, huh?
People are pissed that you aren't chatting.
Yeah.
Oh, I am chatting.
They're calling you out. Jackson.
Live a day. Good man. You got it right.
I can barely get out of bed in the morning, and I always get in trouble when I chat and do this because I can't keep track of it. And Ryan's talking to me and asking me questions. I'm like, huh? And so it's good that Matt's here.
So Ryan and I will be chatting. Oscar's going to be focusing on the content.
Yes. All right. So this is a couple stuff I pulled that may help some of you. So I'm just going to read it. It's kind of bits and pieces that I found from decent sources because there's a lot of junk out there. I try to stay away from the forums. They drive me nuts. They're just such junk. Okay, so the sumping experience in the M8 is due to a miscalibration between the oil entering the crankcase and the oil being removed from the crankcase due to a defective oil pump, which I just told you guys it's defective for the bikes that it's causing the problem. It depends on your riding style. We'll get to that. And other engine design flaws. It is not an all of a sudden quote unquote event. If you never ride more than 20 to 30 minutes at a time, you'll likely never experience it. In fact, you'll mask it because after building up oil in the crankcase, the next time you start the bike and let it idle for a bit, it will empty the crankcase during idle, right? Because it's not, does that make sense, Oscar?
Yes, you're not building up the pressure.
It's not aerated, it's not frothing it, and so it's going to be all settled, and the scavenge side of the oil pump is going to pick it right back up. So it's going to empty the crankcase during idle, and you're going to be back to normal.
Yep.
Sumping happens over time, but only under certain circumstances, such as rapid RPM changes over a period of time during hard riding in the twisties or traveling longer distances like we do at higher speeds on the highway. It just gives it time for this sumping over time. You're losing oil and it's becoming a compounding problem and you're aerating and all that kind of stuff. The amount of time is variable based on how miscalibrated the oil flow is. That really resonated with me and kind of explained it to you. You used to have a confused look on your face, or are you just taking shit in?
No, I'm
okay. It made it. I wrote that down because I forget where I got exactly everything, but the Milwaukee-Eight's oiling system requires a fine balance. This is interesting. Till I started researching this, I didn't really understand like how delicate, like how machined and thought out this shit is. You think it's a motor, you throw some oil in it and it fucking splashes it around, right? Yeah. You're like, the Milwaukee-Eight's oiling system requires a fine, all motors for this matter, most new modern motors, because they used to just be an oil bath type deal. But the M8's oiling system requires a very fine balancing act to maintain the correct amount of oil pressure, oil volume, and scavenging to eliminate wet sumping or oil sumping, you can call it either, while maintaining quiet operation and optimized power production without generating excessive heat. How about that? That's just one system within your motor, which is probably one of the most important systems because you don't have a motor if you don't have proper oiling.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So general principle of oil recovery is to slow the fast-moving oil down enough, slow it down, that the gravity can take over, causing it to drain back to the scavenge inlet, which is on your oil pump, guys. All right?
That's why they made them bigger. Part of the issue is the fluid and the way the fluid moves and what moves it. Those are the three major issues. I wasn't confused. I was thinking.
No, I know you're a thinker. I don't know if you're confused or sometimes you're just in deep thought.
What is ultimately causing that?
You do that when you dry hump me. All right, go ahead.
I do,
Sorry.
but that's not because of deep thought. That's totally different. So I was thinking, what exactly is causing it's an oil pressure issue. Well, that's what the aeration really makes the oil pressure drop because the oil pump doesn't have anything. It's creating suction. So if the oil has air in it, there's not enough friction to create that suction. And so the oil isn't moving through the motor, right? So what ultimately is causing that? I don't understand. Is it that that inlet is too small? That's why they machine the bigger one.
Correct.
So the gravity's not allowing enough to come back down.
And so
that makes sense.
And then on top of it, you're aerating it because it's getting stuck in there. Now you have too much oil. It's aerating it. Now it really can't get through the inlet because it's all thickened up and aerated.
And
so you've got a frothed. Yeah. You've got a compound. Is that making sense? Well, you've got a compounding problem. It starts with the improper inlet. Then it starts. And again, a lot of guys aren't going to notice this.
Yeah,
we know for a fact a lot of guys don't do hardcore riding. They just get their bikes out, run to town, run to lunch, and that's fine. But it's never going to rear its head. It's the guys that are riding hard, long distance. Because
that's why it compounds.
This happens over time, yes.
But not time. When you say time, I'm thinking like, the year. No, it happens over time.
Riding.
The actual riding event.
If you do a 12-hour day.
Motors run.
Right.
Yes.
And if you have high RPMs, that's what ultimately causes the frothing.
Right.
The low RPMs doesn't cause a lot of aeration because the crank's not moving. The faster and the harder the crank moves, the more it aerates, which causes the pressure drop.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Well said on that. Yeah.
All right.
So we're just making sense of this, guys, because we've done a lot of research, but we're trying to make it sense for you. Hopefully the way I put it gets some and the way he puts it and vice versa, that it kind of gets in your head, this exact issue. But at the end of the day, clearly it's a improper scavenge side of the oil pump. And for those that are hard riders, it's going to cause problems, and it has caused problems. And Harley spent a shitload of money to make new pumps to fix their problem for those that complain and realize they have the problem.
That those came on, they upgraded the pump for the 114.
And then 19, I have it in my notes down
20,
here.
In 20, they made a new pump.
In 20, they made the new pump. So it affects 17 to 19 M8s. Then
107.
Factory in 20, they started putting the new oil pump in the factory.
Oh, okay.
17 to 19, it's got the old oil pump, and you got to get the 20 pump.
That's what I mean. The 20, the 114 is now, the 107 is still in the dynas, but the 114 is the major motor. So the new pump is for the 114s, and it retrofits
exactly.
the 107.
Well said. I see where you're going with that. Yeah.
I could.
Yes.
So maybe we're misleading a little bit in that it wasn't a retro fix for it doesn't look like it was intended to be a retro fix. It was intended to be mate with the new motor.
Correct.
And all of a sudden, look,
This works better.
This pump is better. And maybe it'll be better for the older bikes. Oh, and it is.
Right. Exactly. That could be too. That's a good point.
So I think we painted the picture of what the issue is, and then now we're going to kind of move into the
Matt's
symptoms.
like an artist's painting.
Symptoms.
I'm the producer over here, so I'm trying to keep us on the right track.
What track?
I'm trying to keep us on some kind of a track.
Oh, yeah.
So I think we've done a very good job of talking about what is the issue, and now we're going to talk about some of the symptoms and the fix.
The consequences, the symptoms. Now, has anybody in chat had any issue with this oil sumping at all? Please. That's what I want to know.
First of all, I'd like to let you know that Sturgis Jeff is in the house.
Sturgis Jeff.
He created a YouTube account.
What?
And he's here in live chat.
Now he's on this. Now he's on the Twitter sphere. He's on the
know.
Instagram, the book face.
Oh my
he's on
God.
the book face. He's on the tube.
Once he retired, he got
Sturgis
so
Jeff tweet?
technical.
Oh, he's in the Twitter sphere, bro. You didn't know that?
No.
When we were on our 12 state Oh yeah, he's in the Twitter.
I'm proud of the man.
I don't know. I'm just teasing. I don't know if he's on Twitter.
Jeff.
I know he's on the book face,
I don't know what that is, but
he's on the TubeU now.
Oh, the TubeU.
So let me back up a little bit. You asked if somebody had an issue, and Jeff said that yes, possibly had an issue with the wife's freewheeler going through Canada. Dropped it downtown in a dealership in Duluth. No mention of sumping. So they had some type of issues with probably the loss of power and all that. And
Ask him what Jeff Sturgis. Jeff, what was the issues? If you can lightly explain, like what was she experiencing?
So and was it remedied? What did they do and all that kind of stuff?
So there was something wrong.
Let it
but
cool
they didn't
down.
know what it was.
There was something wrong.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So
Yes.
they let it cool down and told her, "Oh no, it's good. We looked
It's
it over
fine,
and
yeah.
we added some oil. You're gold."
You're good to go.
Well, that's part of the problem is diagnosis.
Correct.
I mean,
Yeah, and if
We're
you
not
hadn't
there
listened to this podcast and you're experiencing it, you're gonna, this is weird. And the next time you ride, you may not experience it.
And the
because
dealership.
You could have been on a long ride the time you experience it, and then you ride several short rides after that and don't see it. So it's kind of one of these problems that can come and go, right? Depending on the type of riding.
and not even all the bikes are having it, period. So
Right.
then you're like, what?
Same with the oil transfer, which we're not going to
Right.
get into, but yeah, it's
Right.
and for them to properly diagnose it and say, yeah, that is
Okay.
happening.
So what Jeff's saying is no, not loss of power, but mostly oil spray. So
That's
we were
another, right?
We were talking a little bit before the podcast.
Very
and
true.
Why don't you kind of hit that? What he's talking about?
I'm glad you brought that up. Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah,
Do you
thank
remember what I said?
Yeah, you were basically talking about the pressure being built up and it's coming out the breather.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Because it's all in the crank, and your crank bearings are in your air cleaner, and you got too much oil in your
they
crank.
still vent the crank through the heads. And so if you have a ton of oil in your
We all
intake,
get some.
We do. We get some. But like if it's leaking out, there's a problem
Yep.
somewhere. You have excess crank pressure.
It'll be all over your side of your
Like
exhaust.
everywhere.
It'll be all over your exhaust pipes. I'm glad. I think I had that in my notes, but
Yeah, it was.
some people are experiencing that, and that's just an assload of oil trapped in your, and not, it's sumped. Yeah, it's stuck
But
in your
that was also
crankcase,
a
right?
problem with the twin cams.
Yeah, right.
Some of the guys had problems with that oil. I don't know what the issue ever was, but if you have a ton, then yeah, there's a problem in the crankcase. You have too much pressure.
Yep.
So Jeff's saying no problem with short rides, which is in line with what we're
Yeah, it
hearing.
makes sense.
Good, Jeff. Thanks for being part of that conversation. Some real life experience. So nice.
How? Well, in the heat, the shorter the ride, the less heat builds up. Heat builds up pressure. That makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Longer ride, more heat, more pressure.
Yep. Very good. Very good. All right.
Yeah? What are we
So we're
gonna
gonna
do?
we're gonna get into the consequences
Okay.
of this. What can happen ultimately, and maybe a few more of the symptoms, signs and symptoms of it, and then we're gonna get into what the fix is and maybe what you should do, and then some maybe exciting stuff that's coming down the line shortly. So do you want to do this, Lurchy?
Absolutely. Hey, bikeaholics, searching for new and exciting motorcycle products? Ciro 3D has the products you dream about for your bike. Check out their wide variety of innovative products for Harley-Davidson and Honda Goldwing motorcycles. Ciro 3D's got your back with chrome and black parts, lighting, and other comfort products. No modifying, cutting, grinding, or welding for an easy installation that equals less time installing and more time riding. Ciro 3D has a design team of riders with over 40 years of experience with a passion for design and innovation. Ciro and Goldstrike are the motorcycle LED lighting innovators for CAN bus plug-and-play system compatibility. They pride themselves on great customer service. Got a question? Get in touch with them via email at sales at ciro3d.com or give them a call at 715-808-0027. Check out your local Harley or Honda dealership and ask for Ciro or Goldstrike parts. A new leader has emerged, so check out Ciro 3D's custom line of products for all new Honda Goldwings. Better yet, help support us and head on over to lawabidingbiker.com/store and check out our full line of Ciro 3D products.
All right. So thanks for that. We love Ciro. And by the way, just to give Ciro props, guys, that company have become very close with over the years, and they treat us well. We treat them well. They're just good folks, and I'm not just saying that, but they up there. So if you get a chance to thank them, or if you're in Sturgis, if it goes, make sure you tell them. They just renewed their sponsorship of us, so we'll be doing more videos and more podcast content and running their ads and all that kind of stuff. But I was on the phone with them this week. We were working out
Lance?
and issued Darren Lopez.
Darren.
he's one of their tech guys, and just so easy to talk to. Every time I call somebody there, Lance over there, and they're just a great group of people. I don't just say that because they're sponsoring. I tell you that either way. We've just been fortunate and blessed to establish a really good relationship with them. And Big Daddy Kane, who runs the store, obviously, he knows exactly what I'm saying because he deals with them a lot more than me. And they're very attuned to what's going on and working with us down there and getting the products we need, and just a whole team. And it's just been a pleasure. And so I was really excited that we get to work with them closely for another year here. So
they make some really cool, innovative products like the advertisement says. But we did a little work on my bike today and just flushed out my clutch and my brakes. And it's hot as hell over here. So I had my shorts and flip-flops on, and Ryan had his he had some pants and boots on. So I'm like, hey, would you go out and just shake the bike down and exercise the valves?
Exercise the ABS valves. Yeah, exercise them.
So I was watching you out there doing that, and when you're hitting the brakes and the bag blades lit up, that is such a cool product. I
need to get those.
They
look awesome.
The Horizon taillight for the street glides and the road glides is cool. It's sexy. It's sleek. But those bag blades really light up the back. I mean, they make some neat products that are
useful,
functional, and useful, but also very innovative, very cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very cool. Yeah. And the best part is, to me, is they don't just want to sell you guys stuff. They're actually bikers. Like, they ride and they love the lifestyle like us, and they love getting out, and they want to make cool stuff. They love wrenching on bikes, and they're just down to earth like people, right? Like a lot of these companies, you're like, who the hell are you? like what's behind you? Like, I'll be careful here. There's some companies that sell some cleaners and stuff, and you're like, who? You run commercials against every YouTube video. I don't even know who you are. Do you even ride a motorcycle? Like clearly there's some companies that are just trying to sell you stuff, and that's not the case. Like, we try to align ourselves with companies that are actually, as much as we can, like, they're not just making motorcycle products. They're in the lifestyle, living it, breathing it, because it just makes for a better experience. If you don't understand it, and you're making stuff for cars, and then you're trying to
do motorcycles.
It's clear what you're doing, and it just doesn't resonate with us or the biker community as a whole. So, not to get off track again.
Before we get back
for you.
Shit. Oh, here we go.
Where's the director at?
Before we get back on track, let's stay off track.
Before we get back on track, let's stay off it a little bit. Just because I think this is a good question. Jeff has been asked and I say Jeff, Sturgis Jeff. He's been asked in the private chat when he's going to come back on the podcast.
Oh, I know. And I responded, I said he's welcome anytime he wants a mic. He's always invited. A lot of times, guys, what I do is I put out a group me, and Jeff's on that group me. I'm throwing him under the bus.
Yeah.
Jeff's on that group me.
He can come down anytime he wants.
And I put on there, one mic available this date and time. And if you're available, we have an extra mic spot. So Jeff is always welcome, and he knows that he could jump in any of those anytime.
He's busy though. Now. He's busy.
No, he's not. He's really busy because he's working a full-time job.
Here's what I'd like to hear post-retirement, Jeff.
Yeah.
Ryan and I were talking about this.
No
filter. We were talking about this earlier, is when you're working as law enforcement, you kind of lose your First Amendment a little bit. And what I mean by that,
you lose it a lot.
Okay, you lose it basically.
You straight up lose it.
Your agency and just the profession in general requires you to not be political or not give your opinion. You got to be really careful. So
policies.
As I look forward to this because I'm getting close, but as a retired officer or in being in retirement, I think you feel a little freer. You can just be yourself.
You can say whatever you want.
Yes, you can. So I look forward I think Jeff has a really good view and look on things anyways. But I'm excited to kind of hear his retired input.
He's going to check his schedule for us. Maybe he'll take a day off.
And it's been a long time.
It has been.
We've got some really good drops and some good content out of Jeff. Years ago. And
all the guys are always wrong. I put it out to all the guys. That's how I get guys. Is sometimes I'll have one or like N8 Oscar, and then I'll throw out a group me to everybody about, is anybody available? I do that. Rick knows that. Brian, Scott, all the guys, they're all in the same group me. And it's offered to everyone. I don't put a limit on it. I'm like, who's available?
And if he doesn't want anybody busting his balls, I think a good podcast would just be the two of you too.
Yeah, we've done that before.
Yeah.
Yep. Anytime.
Come on down, Jeffrey.
Yep.
That's like Obi-Wan and Luke Skywalker.
Oh, yeah.
Talking.
And what I like about Jeff is he's not really a bullshitter. When he says something, he means it.
Yeah.
And if he's talking, it's important. You need to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't, he'll kick your ass.
That's true.
Yeah.
If I would have known, I'd had some sound bites ready for this.
Yeah, I know.
Could you imagine a world without cell phones?
I was setting you up for that in case you had the ability. Yeah,
I
didn't know
could,
how
but it would be
fast.
5 minutes late,
I
dude.
didn't know how fast you could find
It's not
that
on the
stuff,
board.
but-
It's in some folders. It's not on the board. Yeah, I know. Sorry. I totally missed that, dude. Totally missed that opportunity. Ride longer and treat your ass with some respect already. Get hooked up with a premium butt buffer seat cushion. This company of bikers developed a super thin hospital-grade seat cushion made of solid and elastic materials, and it's unlike those gel pads that will leak if punctured. The butt buffer is designed not to slide around in your seat, fits all motorcycles, installs in seconds, easily cleans, and helps to dampen vibrations. With plenty of models to choose from, they assure you'll have a comfortable ass when riding. Head over to the Law Abiding Biker store and check out our lineup of butt buffer seat cushions. All right. So let's keep going here, guys, in the interest of time. So consequences caused by oil sumping. Does anybody want to go over this?
Matt does.
I'll do it.
Just go by the notes.
You guys
Like
need a break and you need to wet your whistles.
I'm
tired.
What are some of the issues that can happen if you have this issue and you don't take care of it? So one is you got not enough oil returning to the pump for circulation to the motor. So again, like we said earlier, it's all
Excessive
gonna be
wear.
stained in the bottom. That oil is not going to get up to where it needs to get, so you're going to have a lot of excessive wear. Wet sumping is a condition where oil, instead of returning to the oil tank, builds up in the crankcase and the cam gear case, causing excessive friction and power loss. And I think we explained that pretty well earlier too. It's getting down the bottom, it's getting thick, it's getting frothy, and your motor's got to run through that thing. It's not designed to have, it is designed to have a certain amount of oil in there. When you get too much, it makes it hard for the motor to work. So what else we got here? Moreover, excessive crankcase oil is often whipped into a froth of air and oil by the machine paddles. What are you doing to me? You just popped up a freaking thing.
You could see right around it. Don't let things
The hell
distract
I
you.
could.
You saw right around. Don't let things
So
distract
anyways,
you.
for the-
Multitask, Lurch.
I can see shit. So for the people that are listening, we have show notes up there, and I was reading them, and Ryan opened something, and
I got shit to do
right
over here.
in front of it.
It could. The
I got
whole,
shit to
the whole
do.
screen was blocked. I understand where
I'm
you're coming
busy.
from, bro.
Back
Can
to
you-
what I was
can
saying.
you-
So
you move it up?
moreover,
Can you move it up for us?
excessive crankcase oil is often whipped into a froth of air and oil by the machine paddles on the left flywheel. You're going too far up. There you go. The condition is called aeration. So again, you're whipping it up into a froth, and it's hard for the scavenging to pick it up and put it up into the rocker box area. So the combination of these conditions often lead to oil being forced out of the head breathers, which is that oil spray that Jeff was talking about. The air cleaner, contamination, oil leaks, loss of supply, lift clatter, and premature component wear, and potential engine failure. So the big issues really are that you're not getting oil where it needs to be, and your parts can wear out, and your motor could take it down.
Always, if you love it, lube it. You got to keep it lubed.
Yeah.
And I just want to follow up a very important thing on that, Lurch, which you kind of mentioned, but I want to mention it again.
Can you imagine now a world without a cell phone?
Well done.
And Lurch, when all else fails,
Throw all that aside. Hop on a bike and go.
we love you,
I love
Sturgis Jeff. Oh yeah, here
The internet, the airwaves,
the internet, the airwaves,
the way that the world exists today.
never gonna die. Never gonna die.
That was a legendary episode.
It really was.
Was that episode 4?
That was a long time
It was a
ago.
long time ago.
And Sturgis Jeff is going to go on our trip this summer. So those are always fun episodes too. It's been a while since he did one of those with me where he comes down after the trip, and we usually do an episode on the trip. So those are fun too. We got lots of stuff for Jeff. So yeah, I know we miss him on the mic. Bust his balls in the chat that he needs to get down here, guys. Force him. He always caves to pure pressure. He always caves. All right. Do you want to talk about the symptoms?
Absolutely. So what are some of the symptoms? And we talked about it a little bit earlier with Jeff's experience with his wife's freewheeler. But at first, Sumping bike just feels slightly less powerful. As it
You
would
know
on-
something's going on.
something is going on.
Oh,
you can't pinpoint.
So you might
Joke that keeps going with Oscar.
it's hard to keep on track with this joker
I
next
can't
to me.
stop.
It might feel a little bit less powerful. But eventually the oil in the crankcase builds to the point that the crankcase is sloshing through the oil as it gets deeper into the crankcase. Eventually, the crankcase fills, leaving massive rotational resistance.
That is a huge phrase for you. Good job. Well done.
Efforts to accelerate are met with no response. The engine simply can't rapidly change rotation speeds because of the resistance. So it's working against the pressure and that frothy crap at the bottom of the motor, right? So engine failure comes from being so much pressure built up in the oil in the crankcase. The pan is starved, leaving no oil to be pumped to the top end. The engine also overheats just from all the resistance and too much oil in the crankcase. The engine begins to overheat, and components such as the bearings, lifters, and worse.
What's worse than the lifters failing?
Well, much worse.
Oh, much worse.
They're so much worse. Don't be an asshole. So the rider will never see an oil light, which is quite disturbing, as it is a significant flaw.
Big Daddy says, bring back the Evos. Always worked.
Oh, yeah.
Always worked.
Yes, they did. Yeah. They couldn't get you over 50 miles an hour, but they could get you there, and they worked well for that. I mean, that's crazy. I don't think that's the bulk of the problem.
What do you mean by that?
I'm totally,
Please explain that.
Well, you just talked about that much oil filling the crankcase to the point where like there's catastrophic failure is going to be that's like a long shot.
Yeah, and I think as we get into the fix and the newer pump and explain the new scavenger and how they've milled out the pump so that it's 50-50 instead of 60-40.
Right.
I think that'll explain some of it, but I agree that that's a rare case where you get to that extreme, right?
If it's like that full that the crankcase can't, like if you notice significant loss of power and you could trace it to that, that's a huge, then the problem is already well beyond.
You've already done some damage probably.
Well, and the sumping, whatever is truly causing that issue has given, and it's over. It's over at that point because there's just no way. I mean, you would hear lifter.
Right, if you have no oil left in the top end.
Yeah, right. Your valve train would just be clacking away, and you'd be like, "There's something definitely wrong."
Unless you're using AMS oil,
and then it'll be fine.
Because you can run dry. For a while.
It actually will take the moisture from the air.
And
then redistribute it in the motor and lubricate it. But
really, let me ask you, as a motor guy, if you're hearing a little bit of noise, a little bit of lifter noise, a little bit of top end noise, does that mean for sure that there's some catastrophic stuff going on there, or is it just a symptom?
No, it's a symptom, and it's a legit symptom, right? At the top end is being starved because oil, not only does oil lubricate, but it also removes heat.
Sure.
And it deadens sound a little bit. The liquid itself kind of keeps sound to them, and the metal parts aren't hitting. They're not making any sound. It'd be more like one of the problems, especially with the top end, is you ride your bike, you don't know. It's not like one day you fire it up and you just get clack, 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 and you're like, oh shit. You're hearing it, and it's gradually getting worse over maybe thousands of miles, and you don't notice it. So it's like if you ride with a buddy and then 6 months later, he goes, hey, your bike's really noisy. Then you go, oh, what's the noise you hear? Well, it sounds like clacking. Oh, okay, maybe that's lifter chatter. Maybe I'm not getting oil at the top end because. So I can see why it's a sporadic issue because it's tough to diagnose unless you pull the top end off somehow and had a hose that you could see the oil squirting out. Or if you do use oil analysis, that would be the way to determine faux show, because you'd see a rapid rise in metal in a pretty short period of time. So if you did a couple of UOAs, a couple thousand miles apart,
send it off.
Couple what?
I don't know about the poop.
Used oil analysis, UOAs.
Okay.
UOAs,
Thank you.
That's the only way I can think of you'd actually narrow down and go, because you'd have a rise in iron and aluminum from bearings and pistons and stuff.
Yeah, you don't want to rise in aluminium. So Charles Wilburn in here says, I'll swear on my 103 being a bit better than the Evo, though I've never had one. I love my 103.
Me too.
I'll be quite honest with you.
Me too.
It's why I haven't upgraded to the M8, guys. I love my 2014 SGS. I love the 103. It's a running beast. We use the 103 on police bikes and beat the shit out of them. Now, I will say we've got the Milwaukee-Eights. My police bike, Electra Glide, is an 18. And, of course, it has the 107 M8. And I ran the piss out of it, and I've done zero to it. And it's really had zero issues. So, again, this is kind of one of those deals, but with police, we haven't really been going cross country on them. We're just running around town, but the RPMs are up, the RPMs are down. They get hot.
You're riding them for hours at a time.
Yeah.
The mileage doesn't matter. It's
Right.
the operating condition. So if and you guys let them idle, right? On stops and
a
stuff.
lot of times we do.
That condition that's cooling the oil and bringing everything back, you guys aren't experiencing. And it's probably worse because you're going from 0 to 50.
Right.
Like we don't ride like that. We ease on the throttle and we shift and we have low RPMs. You guys, we're going 0 to 90. I redline my BMW all the time. So that would make it actually worse. You would notice it more than the average rider because that rotation of the crankcase, such high RPMs all the time, and the heat that generates would just accentuate this.
Right.
So I think you would notice it if your bike had a problem.
We're watching for it, and we just haven't really we've got a fleet of them. And so we'll see. Obviously, I'll report it if it is, but just haven't noticed any of the symptoms on my police bike. And so that's one of the deals that it's a little bit, who all it's happening to. And I think that's been one of the difficult things for Harley to diagnose. So I'm not completely throwing them under the bus, and I think it can have to do with your environment too,
right?
Somewhat too. So I just think there's a lot of different things that go into it.
Overfilled crankcase to begin with.
Oh, right.
And that was a huge deal with the 103s. In fact, all the oil changes I did, I always maybe quarter quart low, because if you put right at the 4 quarts or even a little bit higher, it would squirt out the intake.
Yeah, you would have a lot of residual out of the intake. I'm careful with my 103 on that. I keep it just below. And so it's can be a rather complicated issue. So let's dive in as we start winding it down a little bit. So what is the fix to all this oil sumping? Now that you know the consequences and you know the symptoms and you know what it is.
Now that you know something.
We think. We may have just confused the shit out of everybody.
Entirely possible.
If I listen back to this, I might be good. That just makes no sense. We're redoing that. This was a hard one, guys, because it's one of those really technical ones.
It is,
and
right.
We want to make sure we relate it in the proper fashion and that it's factual in nature, for the most part, and what's going on. And so I did some heavy research on this. So the fix, guys, is this new fandangled, fancy dancy 2020 oil pump that Oscar explained earlier that you can now retrofit into your 17 and 19 bike.
Yep.
Why do you want to do this? Well, obviously to avoid sumping, but even if you don't avoid sumping or you're worried about sumping in the future and you just don't want to deal with it. I know, I just caught that. If you're worried about sumping in the future.
Well played.
I'll say it again for Oscar. If you're worried about sumping in the future.
That was an Oscar dad joke. He just appreciated it.
3 of them right in a row.
Right in a row.
Great.
You look so happy right now.
I loved it. Good job.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Good job.
Nailed it. All right. But if you're worried about that, you can just replace your oil pump, of course, at your cost, because Harley ain't going to do it for you. All right. So better oil control. Better oil control and better oil performance is what you get out of a new oil pump.
You don't get any better oil performance, but you do get better oil flow.
Right.
Oh, you get stable oil flow. How about
there you go.
How it's supposed to be in the very
beginning.
beginning.
You get better oil control and better oil performance.
I don't know.
Better oil performance. Overall, not that the oil performs better, but the overall better oiling performance.
Gets to where it should be at the right pressure.
I'm going to put ING, better oiling performance.
Okay.
Is that better, Oscar?
Sure. It's
right.
beautiful.
All right. Avoids the M8 oil sumping problem that Harley fails to admit is a problem. Again, to reiterate, older oil pumps, 17 to 19 M8 motors are the ones having the sumping issues if you're going to have it. And now there's the 2020 oil pump. So let's we're gonna dive into we actually have some of the part numbers and kind of what you're going to need for this kit and kind of actually what is different about the new oil pump, and then basically what it is fixing and how they've machined it a little bit different. Hey, Bikeaholics, you're searching for the easiest and quickest attachable luggage system for your motorcycle? Rick Rack has just what you're looking for. Forget all those frustrating straps and bungee cords that can come loose and slap your paint. Check out one of Rick Rack's awesome quick attach strapless luggage rack systems. This father-son team designed something really special. You can't find it anywhere else. Yep, these guys ride, so they truly understand the needs of bikers. The Rick Rack quick attach system is strong, durable, and secure with a lockable system. Also, check out their full line of quality touring bags to accompany your quick detach system. Once you use Rick Rack, you'll never go back. Yep, what are you waiting for, Bikeaholics? Head over to Law Abiding Biker Store. Check out our full line of Rick Rack systems and bags. Big Daddy Kane down there is ready to rock and roll and get those out to you guys. Him and Grant, he may assign Grant, he may not. He may ship it personally. I don't know.
Goat.
It's his call. It's
Goat.
his call.
He might even put a little smiley face on there for you.
Goat.
Smiley face.
He might. He's not shipping any COVID in the box.
Oh, yeah. No COVID shipping.
No COVID shipping. It's illegal per Inslee. You can ship COVID.
The words are coming out my mouth.
No, what?
Goat.
What did I say?
Wasn't focusing.
Grunt.
Oh, well, it used to be Grunt. Now it's
It
Goat.
used
I
to be.
get
We
mixed up.
changed
Yeah,
it.
yeah. It's
We
Goat.
changed it.
All right. So,
Wow. I can't believe I just saw that. What just happened?
all right.
We went all barnyard shit.
All right, so let's wrap this up. If anybody wants to go through this, and we'll just wind it down, unless you want me to.
I think you need to.
Oil-cooled M8. So there's two different oil pumps. You'll need a different one for the twin-cooled. They are different part numbers. The oil-cooled M8 is HD624000238. The twin-cooled is HD624000247. I'll try to put this in the show notes for you guys. These show notes are going to be, this is one of those alerts. It's going to take me a while. This is one of those.
Yep.
Feeds gears. So feed gears are the same. They're both 10 lobe.
On the older ones. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So big changes are in the scavenger gears, right, and the oil pump. The original oil pump is 10 gear teeth on the scavenger gear. On the new 2020, it's an eight teeth scavenger gear.
So why is 8 better than 10?
Eight
Oh.
teeth. 8 teeth will scavenge more oil out of the M8.
Which is hard when you hear that, you're like,
I know.
why would 8 be
I had to
better
think
than
about
10?
that too.
But the 10 lobe is it's picking up smaller amounts of oil, and you're getting more froth,
Speed.
more
Yeah,
speed,
it'll-
more froth. It's like a blender that's on high speed versus a blender that's on low speed. So
It's
the
like
8,
eating your Cheerios with, one of those little kid spoons versus a real spoon.
Oh.
I eat my Cheerios with a real big spoon because I get a
Nice.
whole bunch at once.
and you take less, and you get less air into your Cheerios.
See, my Cheerios have way less air. It means I fart less.
So
That's cool.
the 8 lobes is picking up more at a time, spinning slower, if you will, grabbing bigger amounts of oil and creating less of that froth. Does that make sense?
Does.
Yeah.
That was perfectly put.
No, I'm glad you said that because I was like reading, I'm like thinking about it. I'm
I
like,
really
that's
had
right.
to think
Yeah.
about that and digest it. It's like, why would 8 be better than 10?
For the same
You
diameter.
would think 10 would pick up more than 8, but the reality of it is an 8 lobe's picking up bigger amounts of oil at a time.
Right.
And creating less of that froth.
Right.
And
Yeah.
It's not grabbing the little. Does that make sense?
It
Not grabbing
does
the
to
little,
me.
grabbing
Does it
bigger
make sense
and-
to you? Do you approve of this message?
Long time ago. I'm just waiting first to move on.
Okay.
All right. You approve of this message? Oscar approves.
2 thumbs up, bro.
So that's one of the changes to the oil pump.
I'm just looking real quick before we do more is the chat. There's a lot of chatter going on in here. Oh, yeah, good. Jeff got a Titan lift from our store.
Oh.
So
wow.
he's enjoying that. So Big
Awesome.
Daddy's asking him, yeah, you guys got to
best.
get hooked up. We'll help you get hooked up with a Titan lift, of course. Yeah. Better and stable lubrication, Russell Roberts said. That must have been in response to the oil pump. Yeah, better and stable lubrication. Going on down. Yeah, Jeff. So Jeff responded to Big Daddy. He says, the new Titan lift lifts the wife's trike easily. Yep, I will never do an oil change below shoulder level again.
Oh, isn't that a game changer?
Amen, Jeff.
That is a game changer.
I still
And
have
I
to
know-
lay on my garage floor.
And I know it's not in everybody's budget, so I have to be careful of that. I get it. It took me years before I could afford a lift, so I get it. They're spendy. We try to, we try to give you the best prices we can. Big Daddy's really good at that down in the store. We can only do so good because obviously there's a lot of costs involved. But if you save for anything and you're going to actually wrench on your bike, I tell you, save for the next 2 years if you need to, because like Jeff said it very well there.
Game changer.
Game changer.
Yeah.
And especially as you get older.
I'll
my
put it on the lift
we were
just to
sitting
lift
on
it up and
stools.
clean it.
Yeah, just to
Yeah.
clean it. Absolutely. We did it today. They're sitting on stools, working around it. It's level because
Right.
we were doing we flushed your clutch end brakes, and we have videos on all that. You guys probably already know that, but we have free YouTube videos on how to, every 2 years you should be draining your clutch fluid and your brake fluid and all that to get the moisture out of it. So anyways, I digress, but I like keeping up on the chat there because there's some important stuff going on. All right, so we're down 8 teeth. The new oil pump body was made to size for the smaller scavenger gear set, guys. All right, So the old M8 oil pump, the area machined that scavenges from the cam cover area and the other side from the crankcase. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yes.
It was not equal. It's 60-40. So they're scavenging more out of
The crankcase than the cam.
Okay.
And it's bigger area. The crankcase is bigger.
Sure.
Right. So it was a 60-40.
60 on the crankcase and 40 on the cam cover.
I think that's how it was supposed to be.
That sounds right.
Good. Thanks for that. The new M8 oil pump is 50-50, which is interesting because you just said there's more in the, so it's interesting to see that they busted it out. So you're getting 50% from the cam now cover and 50% from the crankcase.
Maybe the 60-40 was allowing too much pressure to build up in one side versus the other. I don't know for sure. So don't hold me to that. But obviously they changed to 50-50 for a reason.
The whole system, I mean, we look at, there's a lot of changes, meaning the system as a whole had to be revamped. So the 60-40 may have been only part of the flow issue, but enough that it was limiting flow on one side, meaning there was a pressure drop on the other.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense to me.
And this seems to give a better scavenging effect throughout the motor is the reports. And I don't hear of anybody having any sumping issues after they, use this new machined and new designed oil pump. And again, it's coming stock now out of the factory if you have a 20 or newer bike with the M8. So the new final cap near the inside edge of the oil pump. All right. So we're going to talk about some of the stuff that comes, I guess some other stuff they did. So new final cap near the inside edge of the oil pump, new seal, they reshaped it, and they put an identifier in it. I guess there's a nub there that identifies it. So you know if it's a new pump, but there's a part number on it too.
Yeah, there's a nub that you can tell if it's been upgraded or not. It's a nub that's been added.
You can remove the cam cover and see in there, right?
You can look in there and go, yep, that's a 2021. The seal.
I didn't think there was a seal on the other one.
There wasn't. No,
That's
on the
big
17 through 19 cover, there wasn't a seal.
So it's an aluminum part
Yes.
on whatever metal or aluminum part.
Meaning there's going to be some pressure
leakage
there.
If there's suction on the scavenge side, and there's a pressure problem there.
So we were talking about that earlier. We assume that added seal is going to improve your suction and your ability to scavenge the oil.
Nice.
Right, the flow.
I wasn't expecting that.
Hey, every once in a while, we'd like to surprise you.
We do. We can't leave
that.
everything out there all the time.
No doubt, dude.
Yeah, we got to keep it fresh.
Pulled that one out of your arseholes.
Good job.
Oh, yeah.
Good job.
We did. I had to blow it up. Corona.
So for 2020 models, so come stock. So, of course, there is no recall on this, no admission or fault by Harley, but putting this, it will be completely 100% your expense.
Again.
So
like I mentioned earlier, it's not happening enough, and it depends on your riding. It's not an issue that's large enough for them to do a recall. And they're pretty good at putting out information about, hey, we got this new oil pump, and you should really
People just buying it.
Call it an upgrade.
It's an upgrade. You get some better oil out of it.
So a couple things, guys, on this, and we're going to wind it completely down, but I'll end on some of this. We are fortunate because somebody in the community reached out to me, and it's in the works. I know that a lot of guys want to just change it, and I get it. You have that 17 to 19 Milwaukee-Eight, and you're like, I want to change it. Just because I don't want to deal with the issues, but I don't want to pay a dealership to do it. And we get that because it's a rather expensive project. So we're working with somebody. I'm not making any promises, but we had a meeting about it today, late this afternoon, me, Oscar, and Matt, about getting this bike and doing a oil pump removal and installation on a Milwaukee-Eight. It's a bit involved, but you guys know the way we do videos. We take it very seriously, and we want to make it so that it could really help you all out there in the community. It would, it would help you step by step how to do this in your own shop so that you don't have to pay Harley you're already going to have to give them money for the oil pump, which sucks because they should do it for you, but you shouldn't have to pay labor. And we're hoping that this all comes together. No timeline on it. It'll be later this year. We might do the project in the next couple months, but again, we're in the works of talking to this person. It was a community member here from Washington State that reached out to me, and he said it's over his head, but I asked him why he wants to do it. If he's not having any problems, because he's not. He said, I just don't want problems. I just want to ride knowing.
Totally get that.
Yeah, and I get that because sometimes it's better to get ahead of these things.
Yeah.
And especially if you can do the labor yourself, you're just at the cost. And I didn't price out.
I'm looking at it.
Oh, yeah, okay. I didn't price out the actual, thank you. See,
It's got to be
producer
$500 in
extraordinaire over
parts.
there.
It's got to
You
be.
think?
Yeah, it's got to be. At least $500 in parts.
Because we've determined that if you're going to do this, you're going to need, of course, the oil pump. You're going to need some seals, some parts, and then you're going to have to probably have to put in adjustable lifters.
Push rods.
Sorry. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Adjustable push rods, because we're not going to get into that. It's a whole nother episode and there'll be a video on it, but you're going to have to mess with the push rods because they're going to push the cam down when you drop the cam plate, and you're not going to get things lined up without adjustable push rods. So, but our video will cover all that. So I'm not sure any information on the oil pump itself.
If you could just pull those part numbers down again.
Oh, yeah,
That'd
sure.
help me out a little bit.
There you go.
Thank you.
So Lurch is looking at that real quick. But anything else on that, Oscar? But hopefully we'll be able to do a video on it for you. I think it'll be a very valuable video. It's a large project for us. A film not only is a large mechanical project, it's large to organize and film properly in the way that we do it, so that it really people can get it and nail it and sit in their shop and go, I can do this. Like, I'm confident to do this.
The bonus is you'll get about 3/4 of a cam job out of it.
True.
So
True.
There'd be a few steps
While
left
you're
to do
in
your
there.
cam. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, really.
And we're
kind of a
planning on
twofer.
doing a cam video in the future on Oscar's bike.
Yeah.
So this will be the prelude maybe to this. So yeah. So if anybody else is in Washington and it's something you want to do, like I said, I'm in the final phases of working with this individual. So hopefully it works out. If it doesn't, then we may need somebody else's bike to get it done. So you can always reach out to me and say, hey, I'm close. I can drop my bike, and let you have it for a week. We just it won't take us a week to do it. We just want to have it so we might have to work on it multiple days. It just gives us time and patience to breathe and do it right. But you can always
be a big project.
Yeah, well, you can always reach out to me. And so a lot of people reach out to us these days that live in Washington. Hey, I want this done. Some things we're like, that's not really, thanks for reaching out, but it's not really what we're looking for right now, or we don't think it's valuable at this time to the audience because we've got this project. But we'll always at least talk to you, and we're appreciative of that, and we'll tell you straight up whether we can do it. And we oftentimes, like today, had to have a meeting on it to make sure some of the big things, what's involved, what's the expenses. Big thing is it going to be valuable to people? So yeah. So go ahead, Lurch.
$150 for the oil pump.
So there you go.
That's cheap.
What about adjustable push
No,
rods?
it's like another $150.
Okay,
That's what they've been traditionally.
So 150 and 150. Is that what you said?
I'll look on the push rods.
What's the oil pump again?
150.
Oh, so yeah. So somewhere around 300 is what we're guessing if you can do the labor yourself.
Yeah.
Yep.
My guess is it's probably a 4-hour book job. So depending on the dealership, that saves you $350 to $500.
Right. And the pure satisfaction of wrenching on your motorcycle yourself, knowing that you did it nice and slow and you did it perfect.
Just with a quick look, I think you're closer to probably the 250 for the push rods.
Because it's M8, yeah.
Yeah.
So 250,
$400?
$400 somewhere around there
If you
for
can do it
parts.
yourself.
And get rid of the labor. So yeah, hopefully, let's finish it up with the chat here. And then we are going to get out of here because we got some other stuff to do. We got some dinner to eat. And
Yeah, I'm hungry.
we got dinner, and I don't know what she ended up doing. I was texting my wife, guys. She was going to get us dinner, so I don't know exactly what we're doing. I forgot to tell her Oscar too, but she'll.
That's okay. I'll give you a beating and take yours.
Sorry, dude. I just thought about that. I'm like, what an idiot. But we'll be fine. All right, guys. Thanks for being in the chat. And anything else before we take it out, or any chat that we want to follow up on? Nope. You guys take
A lot of talk about retirement.
a lot of retirement talk.
yeah.
Bastards that are retired.
I
Dude.
can't wait 27 years.
Dude, yeah. I'm in my 3 to 5 year bubble. We'll see.
Wow.
I'm in there, bro. I'm in there. So yeah. And of course, we love our sponsors. Our patrons and our sponsors and all that. We would love to get to know you better. We want you to be a patron. We want to get you benefits. We want to meet you in the private Facebook group. But hey, if you're like right now, I just want to leave a flat donation. Well, certainly we never balk at a flat donation. Sean Thompson, Anton Greztik of Delavan, Wisconsin, and Don Kroll of Williamsville, New York. Thank you. lawabidingbiker.com/donate is how they did that. Puts a little fuel in the Law Abiding Biker gas tank.
So we can keep this thing running on down the road.
Nice. There you go, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for being on the live chat. We appreciate it. Don't forget, guys, call to action. Don't get stranded, Bikeaholics, over a simple roadside repair. Seriously, we sell the hell out of these things. Big Daddy's in chat. He'll tell you.
And we use them.
And we've used them in our documentary films for real. Get hooked up with our Cruise Tools RTH3 roll-up travel toolkits for Harley-Davidson and American-made V-twin motorcycles. That's right. We got them for metrics over there, too. Rick didn't Big Daddy put one in for the Indian? Yeah. If I'm wrong, Big Daddy, correct me in chat, but why don't you look it up?
We have one for the KLR, don't we?
Yeah, I put one in one of the metric kits in the KLR. Yeah. Apparently let's see. I'm looking it up for you guys.
Live right now.
Live, right
looking it up live.
Accessories, toolkits, Cruise Tools. Right in our store. Easily navigable, super easy to use. Yeah, Cruise Tools Road Tech for the Indian motorcycles. It's the RTIN2. All in our store, guys. And
with a discount.
Ooh, Big Daddy has them for discount off right now. He has the regular Cruise Tools discount on them. Look at that.
Yeah, buddy.
So anything you guys need for metrics, for American, for Indian, yep, we got you covered over there. We've been adding a bunch of different tools over there. But don't get stranded over that simple roadside repair, guys. That's right. This quality made toolkit has everything you need for a roadside emergency repair, tested and used right here by the Law Abiding Biker crew. Yep. It's got our stamp of approval.
Our mushroom stamp.
Get it already. It's a Cruise tool of your choice, depending on what bike you have. That's right. Nothing but 5-star reviews. Big Daddy Kane and Grant. That's right. Down there in the store. Have them in stock.
Goat.
You're really hung up on that today.
Did I say grunt again? God.
He needs to be in the grunt place.
He is. He is.
I changed it.
I told you one day I'm going to
know.
set Matt here. I'm going to set Lurch here and say, run it.
He will.
Let's see how it goes.
It's
One
cool.
more year, baby.
That's right.
One more year.
That's right. That's right. No, thank you. It's GOAT. It's GOAT. There you go, guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your support. Thanks for shopping in the Law Abiding Biker store. We're continuing to expand it. We're bringing more products. We had a meeting this morning. We've got some exciting things and some exciting visions for the store. Only getting bigger. And we've got some exciting things we think
We're finally
going to
do dry cleaning. That's cool.
Oh, yeah. Send us your clothes with dry cleaning. Mail it on back.